microcontinent was first proposed in the 1960s, and has only recently been accepted by the geological community. It is believed to be the smallest, youngest, and thinnest microcontinent on Earth. The ocean floor is undoubtedly an area that most people cannot explore, and the secrets it holds are beyond imagination. The mysterious phenomenon of death ice pillars, strange sounds from the depths, and the underwater pyramids from 50,000 years ago. In this episode, we will present 15 discoveries of the ocean floor. And it turns out, you might be hearing this for the first time. If you're new here, welcome. To subscribe to my channel, don't forget to hit the bell, so you can be the first to watch more exciting content. Alright, let's begin our story now. 15th place, Death Ice Pillars. In the polar regions of the Earth, there is a very peculiar natural phenomenon. It's called ice pillars, or perhaps, death ice pillars. This is a special sight that occurs only in the polar sea ice environment. They appear beneath the frozen sea surface, directly to the ocean floor. Sometimes it also freezes, killing small marine life in its path, such as starfish and sea cucumbers. And its name comes from this. How does this special phenomenon actually form? After studying it, scientists found that the process of icicle formation is quite interesting. First, when sea ice forms, it releases very cold water. This water is colder than the surrounding seawater, and denser. Therefore, it sinks rapidly. As it sinks, this cold water freezes the seawater it comes into contact with. A submerged ice column forms along its path. When the ice column touches the seabed, it will continue to spread outward. Then, a thick layer of ice will form on the seabed. The formation of the ice column requires specific conditions: extremely cold water temperatures, high elevation, and relatively calm waters. Under these conditions, ice columns do not grow downwards, and eventually spread across the seabed. Ice columns were first discovered in the 1960s, by scientists exploring Antarctica. With advances in underwater photography technology, people have come to understand them better. Fourteenth place, Strange Sound. In the summer of 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration captured a mysterious sound, underwater in the southeastern Pacific near Antarctica. The sound lasted about a minute. This sound was later named the Blue. Initially, scientists were baffled by the source of this strange sound. They speculate that it is likely a type of giant marine creature that produced it, because the frequency and intensity of this sound do not match any known marine creatures. There is no known organism capable of producing such a powerful sound. Once this was said, it immediately sparked the imagination of internet users. They believe that it must be some giant, mysterious creature from the ocean unknown to humanity. There are even some people who believe this sound is from a sea monster fighting in the deep sea. For a time, the speculation about this strange sound was rampant. But scientists didn't think so. They conducted detailed research to determine the source of the bloop. They carefully analyzed the sound. They found that the sound is very similar to glacial activity in Antarctica. Specifically, when massive icebergs crack or collide, they produce similar sounds. After further research and analysis, the OAA concluded that the bloop was most likely caused by icebergs breaking apart or moving. The question seems to have found an answer. However, most netizens seem dissatisfied with this result. Many still believe that the sound could be emitted by an unknown deep-sea creature. Regarding this, what do you think? 13th place, Europe's Lost Moody. Its name is Doggerland. Doggerland. Doggerland was once a vast low-lying area. It connected what is now the UK and mainland Europe. During the last ice age, approximately 18,000 to 6,500 years ago, this land was home to hunter-gatherers. However, As the climate warmed and the glaciers melted, the sea level gradually rose. Eventually, between around 6500 BC and 6200 BC, this land was submerged by seawater. The antler that was recovered is important evidence of the existence of the elk. In addition to the antler, fishermen also recovered other ancient relics, such as stone tools and animal bones. These discoveries have prompted scientists to conduct more research. They are using advanced technology, such as sonar mapping and underwater archaeology, to explore the ruins of Doggerland. It is believed that in the near future, there will be increasingly more groundbreaking discoveries related to Doggerland. 12th. Underwater Wonderland. In Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, there is a natural water well called Cenote Angelita. This well was formed by groundwater dissolving limestone. The well is 30 meters wide, and about 60 meters deep. That's equivalent to the height of a 20-story building. The well's most notable feature is that it is divided into 3 layers, and each layer has a different effect. The first layer is the area underwater at 30 meters. It is filled with clear fresh water. The second layer is at the 30-meter mark. There is a layer about 3 meters thick of fog or something similar. However, it is actually composed of sulfur oxides. Its presence is mainly due to the mixing of fresh water and seawater here. A certain chemical reaction occurred, resulting in this peculiar phenomenon. Here, there's even a small patch of land, covered with branches and leaves. In clear contrast with the surrounding walls, it's as if one is in a fantastical little world. If you continue to descend, you will enter the layer of oxygen sulfides. The thickness is 3 meters. When entering the first layer, there will be a completely different feeling. The view becomes increasingly blurred. It's as if the surrounding environment is shrouded in thick fog. When passing through this mist, you will arrive at the third area. This is the water zone. The 575 space will become increasingly smaller on this level. 575 is like a leaking door. The 57.5 milliliters area available for activities will also shrink. 575 milliliters, so most people won't come here. Only activities are conducted in the front rain layer, 57.5 m. 11th place. The river beneath the Black Sea. In 2010, a research team from the University of Leeds discovered, using high-resolution sonar technology, that there is actually a river beneath the Black Sea. This river is located at the bottom of the Black Sea, extending from the Bosporus Strait deep into the Black Sea. The study found that the history of this river can be traced back 7,500 years. The river is quite spectacular. Its width reaches about 1 kilometer. The average depth is 35 meters. It stretches over 100 kilometers. Scientists estimate that this river is at least 6 times larger than the Thames. Moreover, it is a flowing river that still flows at the bottom of the Black Sea. The riverbed and banks contain dragonflies. There are also rapid and slow-flowing areas similar to those in the Moody River. The water flows very quickly. The volume is enormous. It's equivalent to the water volume of the 6th largest river on Earth. Additionally, they also discovered 10 sunken ships beneath the water flow. These sunken ships have a history of over 1,000 years. If you're interested, you can click to check it out. Number 10. Bobbit worm. They have elongated bodies. Most can reach over 1 meter, with some even reaching 3 meters. Additionally, these creatures come in various colors. They come in colors from brown to rainbow. Very beautiful. They have many tentacles that look like hair. At the head, there are strong mandibles. They can bite objects in half like scissors. These creatures mainly live in shallow waters of tropical and subtropical seas, especially near coral reefs. They are carnivorous animals. It primarily feeds on small fish and other small marine creatures. It likes to hide under sand or rubble, with only its hands and head exposed. It is always ready to ambush passing prey. This creature's striking speed is very fast, able to strike at a speed of 6 meters per second. The prey has no chance to escape once attacked. When an object approaches, the bobbit worm will quickly strike out. and latch on with its powerful jaws. It then drags the prey beneath the sand at lightning speed. Ian Moore. Ranked 9th. Siphonophore. In Ingvellir National Park, Iceland, there is a magical underwater rift. It's called the Silfra Rift. The Silfra Rift was formed by the separation of the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. Every year, these two plates move apart at a rate of about 2 centimeters in opposite directions. This causes the Earth's crust to crack and the rift to continually widen. This has created the spectacular sight we see today. As time goes on, the crack will become deeper and deeper, wider and wider. The rocks in the crack are mainly composed of basalt and volcanic rock. These rocks are the result of volcanic activity millions of years ago. The water source for the Silfra fissure comes from glacial meltwater from the Langjökull Glacier. This meltwater undergoes underground filtration for about 30 to 100 years. It is extremely pure. The content of substances in the water is very low, which results in a very high transparency of the water. The underwater visibility can reach over 100 meters. The underwater crevices are magnificent. Water flows through narrow passages between the rocks, forming unique underwater topography. The rocks are clearly visible, their surfaces covered with a thin layer of algae. Under the sunlight, it presents a green sheen. The width of the fissures varies. At its narrowest, it can only accommodate one person. At its widest, it can reach 10 meters. The deepest part of the fissure is over 60 meters deep. Even so, the bottom stones can be clearly seen. 8th place. Black Smoker. In the deep sea, there is a very unique phenomenon, known as black smoker. They generally appear at depths between 1500 and 4000 meters. The formation of black smokers can be roughly divided into 3 steps. First, seawater seeps through cracks in the ocean floor into the Earth's crust. Next, these seawater encounters heat and is heated to around 400 degrees Celsius. Then, the heated seawater rapidly rises from the seafloor due to temperature and pressure changes. This hot water, due to contact with the surrounding environment, contains a large amount of dissolved substances. These substances quickly settle down. Over the years, they gradually form column-like or rod-like structures. In appearance, they look especially like smoked meat. And those black objects emerging from the smoke chamber are actually formed in a similar way to the black brine. They contain a large amount of material. These black substances slowly condense around the black smoked meat over time. Ultimately, they increase the scale of the black brine, becoming a part of the black smoke vent. The environment near the black smoke vent is very unique. It has a distinct ecosystem. A large number of microorganisms live around the black smoke vent. They rely on the chemicals emitted by the vent to survive. They form the base of the entire food chain. Above them, there are other organisms, similar to giant tubes. Begins with organisms like these. These creatures gather around black smoke meat at about 400 degrees, feeding on microorganisms. Light. Still. Rice. Still. Rice. Shan. Guan. 7th place. Cancun Underwater Museum. It is a group of underwater sculptures located near Cancun, Mexico, established in 2009, by British sculptor Jason de Caires Taylor and local marine conservation organizations. The museum contains hundreds of sculptures. The purpose of their creation is to relieve pressure on nearby coral reefs and provide new habitats for marine life. This promotes the attachment and growth of corals and other marine organisms. These sculptures are made from a special pH-neutral marine concrete that can withstand seawater corrosion and can last for hundreds of years. The sculptures are placed on the seabed, forming a unique artificial coral reef. It provides new habitats and shelters for fish, crustaceans, and other marine life. This increases the biodiversity of the seabed. Over time, these sculptures will be gradually covered by marine organisms. Eventually, they will become part of the marine ecosystem. The museum also provides a location for scientists and environmental organizations to study marine ecosystems and the development of artificial coral reefs. By observing and researching the attachment and growth of organisms on these sculptures, scientists can obtain valuable data about marine ecosystem restoration. This information is of significant reference value for global marine conservation and restoration efforts. Rank 6. Underwater mysterious circles. In 1995, divers exploring the waters near the Ryukyu Islands in Japan accidentally discovered some mysterious deep-sea circular patterns. These patterns have a diameter of about 2 meters, and are designed with remarkable precision and complexity, as if crafted by some intelligent life form. At first, divers and scientists did not know how these patterns were formed. It even sparked many conspiracy theories, similar to those about aliens. Until 2011, scientists finally uncovered the secret of these circular patterns. Through long-term observation and research, they discovered that these patterns are actually created by a type of small pufferfish. And all of it is the work of male pufferfish. This type of fish lives in the southern seas of Japan, especially near the Ryukyu Islands. Male pufferfish create complex circular patterns on the sand to attract females. The entire process can take days or even weeks. The fish continuously swim above, using their fins and bodies to create undulating patterns in the sand. These patterns are meant to attract the fish's attention. It can also help protect the fish eggs they lay in the patterns from the harm of currents and predators. 5th place. The sunken ancient Egyptian city. In 2000, a team led by French archaeologist Frank Gaudio made an unexpected discovery of a large ancient site. While conducting underwater archaeology near Alexandria, Egypt. Later, after research, it was found that this is an ancient Egyptian city with a history of 2,500 years. The city was known as Heracleion in ancient Greek times. In ancient Egypt it was called Thonis. Thus, it is also referred to as Thonis Heracleion. Thonis Heracleion was an important port city in ancient Egypt, connecting the Nile River to the Mediterranean. It was the main seaport for entering Egypt. The majority of foreign trade in the city. There are many temples within the city. Every year, grand religious ceremonies and festivals take place here. At that time, many Egyptians and Greeks lived together in harmony. Around the 2nd century BC, the city sank into the sea, due to earthquakes, tsunamis, and various other natural disasters. The sediment caused it to be buried, until it was rediscovered. Archaeologists discovered a large number of well-preserved architectural sites underwater, including temples, port facilities, and residential areas. During the excavation, they also found many statues, inscriptions, and other artworks. They even discovered the wreckage of several ancient ships. The appearance of these wrecks provides us with important information about ancient navigation and trade. 4th. Kursk submarine. Kursk. This is an Oscar I-class nuclear submarine, primarily used for anti-submarine warfare. The submarine is equipped with various missiles and torpedoes. The submarine entered service in 1992. However, on August 12, 2000, it sank unexpectedly during an exercise. The Russian Navy only confirmed the specific location of the submarine sinking on August 14, after the rain. In multiple attempts to rescue it, they all failed due to the severe sea conditions and inadequate rescue equipment. It wasn't until August 20 that they successfully entered the submarine. But by that time, all 118 crew members had already perished. Afterward, the Russian government conducted an investigation. Ultimately, it was determined that the cause of the accident was a torpedo explosion. The torpedo was a 65-76 type kit heavy torpedo. It used high-concentration hydrogen peroxide as fuel. On the day of the incident, the torpedo's internal fuel has leaked. This caused a violent chemical reaction with the metal components of the torpedo. Subsequently, a fire broke out. As the fire spread, other munitions in the submarine were also affected. About 7 minutes later, other torpedoes stored on the Kursk exploded in a massive blast. The force was equivalent to hundreds of kilograms of TNT. They forcibly tore apart the front half of the submarine. 2 years after the nuclear submarine accident, an international team led by a Dutch company began to salvage the Kursk. The entire process took several months. Ultimately, the Kursk was cut into 2 parts. The undamaged rear section was successfully brought ashore, while the front half was severely damaged due to the explosion, is forever left in the Bataz Sea. 3rd place. The largest underwater mountain range. You know, there is the longest underwater mountain range in the Atlantic Ocean. It's called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. This massive underwater mountain range extends from the Arctic Ocean all the way to Antarctica. running through the middle of the Atlantic. Its length is approximately 16,000 kilometers, and its height generally ranges from 2,000 to 3,000 meters. The formation of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is due to the movement of tectonic plates on the Earth's surface. These plates fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. However, over time, they gradually separate in opposite directions. In the Central Atlantic location, the American Plate, the Eurasian Plate, and the African Plate also do the same. As they pull apart, they inevitably emerge from below. These gradually form massive and elongated underwater mountain ranges after cooling. Due to the continuous movement of these plates, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge becomes a very active area. Therefore, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur frequently. New formations constantly emerge, leading to countless small underwater peaks, complex underwater terrain, high peaks, deep underwater canyons. In some places, peaks even emerge above the surface. Iceland appeared under such complex conditions. Second place E. Sealanti Aole. In the eastern part of Australia, there exists a disappearing microcontinent, called Zealandia. This microcontinent was first proposed in the 1960s, and has only recently been accepted by the geological community. It is believed to be the smallest, youngest, and thinnest microcontinent on Earth. The reason we cannot see it is that 94% of this microcontinent's area, it is all submerged beneath the sea level. Only New Zealand and New Caledonia have a few scattered islands above the water. The area of Zealandia is about 4.9 million square kilometers. But compared to other land masses, its crust is much thinner. The crust thickness of other continental masses is about 30 to 50 kilometers. In contrast, Zealandia's thickness is roughly between 10 and 30 kilometers. So this is also why it is submerged by the sea. About 60 million years ago, Zealandia and Australia were still tightly connected. But due to the subsequent movement of tectonic plates, they gradually began to separate. Later, Zealandia sank beneath the ocean. For more information about Zealandia, if you're interested, you can check out the episode 1 made previously. First place, underwater site from 50,000 years ago. Rames built thousands of structures 2,000 years ago. A company named Advanced Digital Communication in Canada collaborated with the Cuban government and accidentally discovered a series of seemingly artificial structures while using sonar. The structures are located underwater at a depth of about 600 to 750 meters, covering an area of approximately 2 square kilometers. The structure presents a regular hexagonal shape. It gives the impression of being made from smooth stones. It particularly resembles a city wall. Some buildings even look very much like pyramids. Following this discovery, it quickly attracted enthusiastic discussions from various experts. Some believe these structures could be the result of natural geological activity. Some people believe that the structure may be remnants of ancient civilizations. However, many people have expressed doubts about this theory. The main reason is that the depth of these structures far exceeds known estimates by geologists. To have sunk to a depth of 600 to 750 meters underwater, it would have taken at least 50,000 years. That is to say, human civilization built these structures 50,000 years ago. From a scientific perspective, this kind of claim is obviously hard to accept. However, experts are fiercely debating this, but the local people in Cuba are thrilled to hear about it. Because many locals have grown up hearing a legend that mentions an island submerged by the sea. These people believe that the underwater structures discovered today are likely the sunken island mentioned in the legend. However, due to funding and depth limitations, research on the underwater sites in Cuba is progressing very slowly. Alright, that's all for this episode's content. What do you think about these 15 underwater discoveries? Feel free to share your thoughts.